Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through the GWS Giants vs Carlton Blues game, in which GWS ran absolutely over the top of Carlton in the second and third quarter and then almost decided to lose the game. In the end it was an absolute shootout, 116 to 104, 18 goals to 16 goals. And yeah, so before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So, Briggsy 136, what do we think of that? And I honestly think it doesn't really make much of a difference, to be honest with you. I think the likes of DeConing is going to give a lot of hit-outs away just because of the general mould of a ruckman he is in. He's more of an around-the-grounds ruckman, and Briggsy is more of a tackle and hit-outs ruckman. That's the more dominant point scoring avenues for him. So he just got the good rucking matchup for his playstyle and ended up taking advantage of that with 9 tackles and 40 hit-outs. That is 76 points in from Briggsy. Then Daniels here with 29 touches, 5 marks, 11 tackles, 0 goals, 3 and 129. I thought he was pretty big. I remember watching most of this game. I don't think I watched all of it. I don't remember exactly. Was this the 4:30 game or was this the 7:30 game? I don't exactly remember, but yeah, Daniel was pretty good in this game, but he's a small forward. He's going to probably pop a 60 next week, given that he popped a 45 the week before. Hogan, very similar story to Daniel. We just don't pick them because they have 30 games like that against the Swans, where basically a rain out is basically their game over. Ward is one of those ones that can pop up for a big score. Did a 118 and a 109 last couple of weeks, but I don't really expect him to do much, given that it was his first 2 tons of the year after 1, 2, 3. 8 other scores below 100 before that. Tom Green next up, 107. A little bit of a poor fourth quarter from him, but that was on the back of an absolute monster third quarter with a 52. So we ended up going 22-20, 52-13. And ended up on a 107, And he is back to his best, 127, 106, 107. If he can put together a full quarter effort, he's going to end up with a 140, 150 in these games. He's just not doing that at the moment, but he is back to his best, and I think he's going to be one that is always on our radar in the midfield for the foreseeable future in fantasy and Supercoach, especially because he has this early game rolled ankle 7, that will impact him by 4 or 5 average each for next year, I should say. He's only averaging 97. If we do the stats, there's 7 games left. That's 840 if he averages 120 from here, which I don't think is inconceivable. Then plus 5, 15, 52 equals 23.92, divide that by 23, and you get 104 if he averages 120 till the end. If he averages 110 to the end, that's 770 plus 15.52, which divide that by 23 is 100.9. So he's probably going to come in somewhere between, I would suspect 100 to 104 is where he sort of pops in at the end. So how many does that mean? That's 2,300 minus 1552. Divide that by 7. He needs an average of about 106 or 107 from here on out to get to 100 average for the year, which would price him at about 900k going into next year. And that puts him, I think, down by roughly 10 points from last year. And if we actually look at that and think about it logically, if he was to say get average 100 for this year, that would put him at 22.93 divided by 22 at an actual average of 104. So that's why I say that rolled ankle effectively equivalent to 4 points or so average under. So going back here, Whitfield 106. He's one of the favorite guys to watch when he isn't getting tagged. 15, 17, and then they pretty much let go of the tag. And then 32-42 in the second half there, 74 second half to get to a 106 was absolutely huge. And yeah, he is annoying to own at sometimes when he doesn't get near the ball or gets himself concussed. But when he doesn't, he's really good to own. Coming here, 99, I think he could be relevant next year if he does switch sides in the end. But we'll have to see how he pans out, because it'll be interesting to see, 1, his look at his positioning, 2, to look at his scoring and where he pans out there, and 3, to see the squad that if he does move clubs, where he goes to. Himmelberg Cornelio, 84, getting back into the swing of things. 54 last week into an 84. He's going to be well unders. I don't know whether he's just past it now or something, or whether he needs to like change role like we saw with Adams in the last couple of years, where they go from an inside mid averaging sort of that 100, 110 range to sort of another guy just in there around there averaging sort of 80, 90 or around that marker. Thomas, Callahan, Jones. Callahan's one that I'm interested to see his progress. An 80 score here, whether he will just become sort of that winger, much like if we take, say, Sydney, for example, whether he becomes the McInerney or whether he becomes the Goulden in terms of fantasy, because McInerney sort of utility can do anything. I think Callahan could follow that path, but whether he also does the Goulden path where he just becomes just the guy that they go to and use the ball through, and he could end up being a 100, 105 type of guy, and that would be valuable in fantasy. Jones, Buckley, Bedford, Toby Green, Fonzie I thought was pretty good, especially early on. He got away very quickly, did slow down a little bit, but 56 in his opener is pretty decent, but yeah, just not needed in this manner for me at the moment, given that we do have Schoenberg and Evans there, as well as Reed, who's been stuck there forever, and I think his season is over, Reed, as well, which would be quite annoying that we've just been stuck with him there for a while. And then you've got Perryman, Cabin, Riccardi, McMullen. A full game for a 34 was a little bit annoying, but I mean, he's not on my side. It's just I want to see him score well because, or just see him subbed out of games so that his average goes down. To Koning, will be interesting to see how this one plays out, because there is a thought of going to Koning over Max Gawn. How many points is Max Gawn going to bleed for the rest of the game cycle, that it's actually better to get a Max Gawn rather than another rookie, etc. That is sort of my thought process with that. Kennedy, 108, he's also one that you could maybe consider, but then again, there's just too much of a sub-risk for me to consider that. Paddy Cripps, a 105 here. He was, or 108, 105. He was pretty good yet again, 34 in the last. He tried to will his side on. He was really good in the first and then early in the second, but then sort of fell away from here on with only, minus 1, 1, 3, 5, 16 in a quarter and a half worth of time, basically. Yeah, that just isn't good enough for a top liner. But then came back with the thing in the last quarter, 34-point last quarter. Newman, 87. I thought he was really good early, and I thought, he's on for like 110 at this point. And then I look at the score at the end, 87. I was like, wait a second, where was he? Akers here, I think that was also a testament to both teams' goal-kicking accuracy. That one you'll see here with Whitfield, it had nothing to do with them actually missing, that he scored well in the end. You can see they had a lot of dominance in this early part in the first, probably 26 minutes, 27 minutes of the game. That is basically the first quarter and a half. And you see here that he was on 15, 19, 22, 24 in the first sort of little bit, 20, you can even include that. So 26 in the first quarter and a half for Whitfield. And then he went off in the last bit when Carlton didn't have the ball. It didn't relate to any kickouts or anything like that. Same can be said about Newman to a certain degree as well. As they both only had a maximum of 8 kickouts to take, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were at 3 or 4. Akers, Chera, Walsh got clamped by Bedford, and it sounds like Cornelio also got tagged a little bit. So Chincotta, I think, was moving around, and that's maybe why Cornelio isn't going to score that well, is he's like more of the obvious tag target over Ward or Green. And that's why they probably want to see more or a transition from Callahan and see how that goes, because he could be the one that takes the tag off Cornelio. But yeah, Walsh got absolutely tagged out of the game. Mackay, Cowan, Hollands was really good early and then fell apart in the last quarter here. Yeah, you can just see here, really good in this part, getting to 39. He was on about 45 Supercoach, and then I think ended up on 65. McGovern, Williams, Wiedering, Hollands, no one really matters here. Kerno did do a little bit in the last quarter with a goal and a behind, but other than that, he was very, very, 1 goal, 2 for him today, or whenever on the Saturday. But yeah, just not influential on this, and then they sort of have a supporting cast of their smalls that do nothing. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one, which will be the Sunday games, is this? Or what will be the next one? The next one is the Fremantle-Richmond game, then you have the Melbourne-West Coast game, and the St Kilda-Swans game that will be done on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we'll have the Brisbane-Adelaide game, as well as my team recap and then you'll have trade targets on Thursday alongside cash cows, and then you'll also have Friday will be the regular 3, Saturday probably no upload, and we'll be back on the same schedule like we always do. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.